Hello friends, welcome to Rambling Unlimited. My name is Daniel. Today we'll be looking at the wildfires in California, the ugly, the bad, and the not so bad. The Camp Fire has already killed 81 people and destroyed thousands of homes. And with over 1,000 residents still unaccounted for, authorities fear the death toll could rise. 3 people died in the Woolsey fire in Southern California, bringing the statewide toll in fires to 84. Let's watch.
Blaze, the worst in California's history, is now 50% contained after consuming more than 145,000 acres. Just outside of Los Angeles, the Woolsey fire is 78% contained after burning 98,000 acres. Now communities are faced with a new and very dangerous threat.
Dense smoke from those fires is smothering parts of the state with what has been described as the dirtiest air in the world.
I wish to express my sincere condolences to those who lost loved ones and pray that those who are not found yet will be found safe and sound. My heart goes out to people who have suffered untold pain and loss of property.
Camp Fire has burned more than 12,000 structures to the ground as it blazes across Northern California. And the death toll is rising as authorities rush to sift through the debris. Now, the winds that fueled the fire spread are pushing thick smoke across the region, rendering the air virtually unbreathable in neighboring cities. People wore masks as hazardous smoke levels blanketed the Sacramento Valley yesterday, posing health risks from burning eyes to chronic heart and lung diseases. Doctors say breathing it in is the equivalent of smoking up to 10 cigarettes a day. In San Francisco, the Bay Bridge was almost completely obscured by the haze.
If you are in the affected areas, please take precaution against the smoke by wearing a mask at all times. I hope that we'll be able to either stop or control future fire outbreaks to avoid this kind of death and damage. While people are dying or mourning their dead ones, wondering what to do next after all their property has been destroyed and bleeding from both physical and emotional wounds, what does our president do? Well, let's take a look.
As wildfires continually ravage California, President Trump has repeatedly blamed the state.
Because, we're tired of giving California hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars all the time for their forest fires when you wouldn't have them if they managed their forests properly. They don't. They have lousy management, and the environmentalists are, doing something very bad. They won't let us take the logs. They won't let us take the dead trees. It's all a mess.
California's a mess. So I think California ought to get their act together and clean up their forests and manage their forests because it's disgraceful.
It's been a very tough situation taking place in California for a number of years, and we're going to have some meetings about it because there are reasons and there are things you can do to mitigate what's happening.
He even threatened to cut federal money to the state, which lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have opposed.
President Trump is blaming California, blaming firefighters, environmentalists. He even threatened to withhold funding from California to manage the forests and contain fire spread and damages. Let's watch.
I was watching the firemen the other day, and they were raking areas. Where the fire was right over there, and they're raking trees, little trees like this that are not trees, little bushes that you could see are totally dry. Weeds, and they're raking them. They're on fire. That should have been all raked out.
What about the argument?
You wouldn't have the fires.
What about the argument it's climate change, that it's drier, it's hotter, and that's contributing to it?
Maybe it contributes a little bit. The big problem we have is management.
You heard him there. That should have been all raked out in advance. We should note the head of the firefighters union called the president's mismanagement charges irresponsible, reckless, and insulting. And their Pasadena local told the president directly, "You are wrong." Only 3% of California woodlands are run by the state of California.
Why say these kind of things when people are in pain and need empathy and sympathy and assistance from their president? We may never know.
Officials have pointed out that Trump's claims of blame for the fires are wildly inaccurate. Not only are more than half of California's forest lands owned by the federal government, but the increasing devastation from California's wildfires is thought to be caused by a host of factors. Decades of fire suppression led to forests building up more flammable material. But climate change has also had a hand in drying out acres of vegetation, depleting groundwater, killing trees, lengthening the fire season, and changing precipitation patterns. Urban sprawl has increased the number of structures built in areas that have a higher risk of fire, and human activity has ignited the majority of wildfires. Some fear that Trump's attacks aim to undermine environmentalists and push through more aggressive logging and water diversion policies for timber and farming businesses. Others say they are attempts at political payback, directed at a state that has consistently voted blue in presidential elections and recently hindered Trump's rollback of environmental regulations. But most agree that while looking for answers to the worsening nature of California's wildfires is important, pointing fingers or cutting funding won't help firefighters or fire victims.
Well, some good things happened as well. In this jumble of death, pain, destruction, and suffering, the American spirit showed up once again, coming to the fore with firefighters, law enforcement, private citizens, everyone doing their best to help. President Trump even visited California and promised, among other things, to help.
We're all going to work together and we'll do a real job. But this is very sad to see it. As far as the lives are concerned, nobody knows quite yet. We're up to a certain number, but we have a lot of people that aren't accounted for. And this is the kind of destruction. In fact, they're telling me this is even not as bad as some areas. Some areas are even beyond this. They're just charred. So one thing we have the greatest people in the world looking and helping the first responders. FEMA has, people have been incredible. Law enforcement, always. They never let us down. They never let us down. So we are here. And Kevin, thank you very much for the job you've done and the support you've given in Washington. And Kevin, anything we can do, you know we're here. You just bring it over to the office, right?
At this time, I will turn a blind eye to the raking very well being the cure for forest fires, calling paradise pleasure, not accepting the impact of global warming and other gaffes for another day. At least he visited, said some sensible and, of course, some not so sensible things. Let's watch.
Just to see the firefighters, nobody's ever seen what's going on over there. And now they're saying it could be as many as 600. This just came out before we met. It could be as many as 600 people killed, up by 400. It's incredible what's going on and burned beyond recognition. They can't even see the bodies. It's incredible.
In these days of uncertainty, where the bar is lying flat on the ground for Donald Trump, provided he did not physically kick someone in the nuts, that's a plus.
This is a very big problem, and we have to solve this problem, and I know that we're going to work together. I have no doubt. Come here. I have no doubt.
The president landing early Saturday to survey the destruction up and down the state, meeting with survivors and first responders, vowing to help, focusing on forest management, which he had previously criticized.
We're putting quite a bit of money, about $500 million in the Farm Bill for management and maintenance of the forests.
Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode.